Hello and welcome to another World of Warplanes video with me, Sir 10 Death. Today is something new for my channel because this is the first video review I'm doing of a ground attack aircraft, and I'm looking at this one. It is the German Tier 4 Focke Wulf FW189C Eule. That's quite a long name. Now, I'm quite a novice with ground attack planes. I've just got into learning how to play them quite recently, and it's a bit of a change. I'm starting to enjoy them. So I've played through one or two of the lower tiers in the Russian line, because this is the lowest tech tree one, although there are a couple of premium ones lower than this. This is the lowest German tech tree one at tier 4. There are some Russian ones that start down there at tier 2, and I've gone as far as tier 4 on those two lines, and I'm just starting to get a little bit of an understanding of the playstyle and what I should and shouldn't be doing. So as ever, there's some gameplay going on, and I'll be talking about this plane and what it does, what it doesn't do so well. I have to say in advance, a friend of mine who is a very experienced ground attack player, he's gone right up to tier 10 with the Russian and the German lines. He said that this plane that I'm playing right now was actually the very worst ground attack plane that he has memory of. Of all of them in the game, he said this is the worst one, and it's a terrible plane. But that was his opinion, and I respect his opinion, but I'm going to show you what it can and can't do anyway. So off we go. We're heading off towards the nearest part of the map here, and my understanding is what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and get in there and get these bombs away early on one of the slightly bigger targets, because the guns will take down. I'm just going to get the guns to go to work on some of these softer targets to try them out. Yeah, they're doing no problems at all there. Starting to smash up these low targets with the guns, and then heading off to one of these slightly heavier, more armoured targets, and then I'm just going to dump the bombs, all four of them. Now, that might be overkill, but I'll talk about what the bomb's statistics are. What I want to do is, what I've achieved here is basically cap this area in a matter of seconds. Now, I'm not taking sole responsibility for that. There are 4 or 5 others with me, but I just figured if I get involved there straight away, dump all the bombs. You see straight away they've got quite a long reload on these bombs. Now, I was going to go back up towards the middle of the map, but then somebody on the team suggested let's go and take that area of the map that they're busy spam clicking there, and I thought I'm going to go and support that. One of the rules of ground attack planes is probably stating the obvious. This is obviously to smash up parts of enemy or unoccupied ground targets in order to take them for your team. That really means going to places where there's not many of the enemy players. If you go to where there are a whole heap of enemy fighters, you're asking really to be shot down. When I'm playing fighters, I love nothing more than seeing a ground attack aircraft just floating past, because it's a big slow target and I can tear them apart with my fighters quite easily. So I'm heading up to this area, supporting members of my team and seeing if I can help to cap this second part of the map here. So let's talk about the stats of the plane then. It's when you get the plane, when you first get it, it has 450 hit points, which at tier 4 is pretty nice, but you are going to take quite a bit of damage from anti-aircraft guns and from enemy aircraft, of course, so you do need those to soak up that damage. It's got, as you'd expect, it being a big, slow, low altitude plane, it's got a manoeuvrability rating of 28. It's not designed to nip around and to turn quickly in combat. You can see as I'm turning here, it's quite slow to get turned. My bombs have just reloaded. I'm just coming over another one of those medium armor targets, dumping all the bombs again to try and do the same as I did before and just do a huge amount of damage and help to hopefully cap this area of the map. Now you see my rear turret's going to work there. It's busy shooting away at somebody. I'll talk about the rear turret in a little while. So the manoeuvrability, as I said, is 28. That gives it a turn time of 16 seconds, which is pretty slow and sluggish, but it's a ground attack plane. It's not designed for manoeuvring combat at all. Its suggested altitude actually surprised me a little bit. It suggested you play this up around 600 meters, which is a little bit of a surprise, because generally speaking, ground attack aircraft are found where I am right now, very low down to the ground. Just thought I'd put some shots on that guy as he was coming straight towards me. Now he's probably going to come around behind me, and I'm hoping that the people on our team are going to look after him. But I'm also looking at, there we go, we're just going to jump into the rear gunner and just see how this works. Now he's on my tail, and he's going to do more damage to me than I can do to him, but I'm going to certainly soften him up a lot. Now what I'm doing here as well was deliberate. I read on the forum somewhere that trying to outrun a fighter is difficult to do because they are normally faster than you are. So you actually try the exact opposite. Slam the air brakes on, and what can happen is either they'll run into the back of you, or they'll overshoot you and fly past you and go in front, and then they've got to make another pass to get round to get onto your tail again. I'm not saying it's necessarily a tried and proven strategy. I've only tried it a couple of times myself, but that's what I was doing there. I couldn't outrun that guy, so I was just going to hold down the S key on my keyboard and just slow my plane right down and hopefully let him run at the back of it. Its speed then, as you probably can see already, it's not the quickest plane. It ticks over normally when you're not boosting a little over 200, about 210, 220 kilometers an hour. When you're boosting, you push that over 300, but it's not fast at all. But it's a big, slow plane. You wouldn't expect it to be fast. So I'm doing okay so far on this, given that I'm still very much learning the trade, and there's probably experienced ground attackers who will watch this video and comment and say I should have done something differently. I can see right now I'm not letting the guns cool enough, but I'm getting a feel for those guns. And I've got bombs again here, so I'm just going to only dump 2 there because that's a lightly armoured target, and then dump the other 2 on here. And I've got over 3,000 combat points. I'm not doing terribly badly. I'm nearly 4,000 now, in fact. And as you see, as I said before, what I've deliberately done when I respawned is gone to an area of the map there where there basically weren't any enemies around. I'm looking for places where I can take control of the ground and not hopefully get involved with any fighters, because if I do get involved with fighters, it's going to end badly for me. So let's talk about the guns then. When you get the plane at stock, it has 6 7.92mm guns mounted on the wings, and they, frankly speaking, are very underwhelming. They don't perform particularly well, and they will not do huge amounts of damage to ground targets. They'll do little bits, but not a significant amount. You also have a single 7.92 on the turret, which you saw going to work earlier on. That's me jumping into the backseat there now, and just trying to get the turret. But you can see it doesn't point down, it doesn't have much gun depression, so I've got to wait until they are actually almost level with me before I can... The reason I've jumped back into the front seat now is because I made the mistake when I was playing a different plane a few days ago of tunnel visioning out the back seat and looking at the back of the plane and shooting away at somebody, and I flew straight into a mountain. I don't mind admitting that because I'm probably not the first to have done it, but I was leaving the plane to fly away in a nice straight line while I shot this guy behind me and thought I was doing wonderfully well, and the next thing I knew, crash, straight into a mountain. So just do be aware of that. So those guns then, you can, and thankfully you should, you upgrade the front ones to what I've got on here right now, which is 2 20mm cannons, and then you retain another 4 792s. So you change 2 of them out for 20mm cannons, and then you can do quite a lot of damage. You've already seen me in this game managing to shoot some of those softer ground targets with relative ease. There's an example right in front of me now, an anti-aircraft gun, and I can, there you go, just smash it up with those 20mm cannons quite easily. So they will work pretty well once you get them upgraded. And the rear turret can also be upgraded from a 792 into basically a different 792. So it doesn't upgrade the caliber of the weapon at all, it upgrades its rate of fire and the amount of damage it can put out. I'm now just looking for occasional targets. Now this game seems to be going away from us, it looks like it's going to be a defeat, and I'm trying just to help this area, but there's quite a few enemies around. You can see my rear gunners working overtime today. I have got myself the grade 3 attack fighter award, which I'm quite pleased with, given that I'm not an experienced grade ground attacker at all. Quite happy with that. Somebody's right on my tail, and it looks like I'm out of here for the second time any second now, so I'm just going to jump that bomb to try and finish off that before I went. Just cutting now back into the third respawn. Yeah, the game is certainly going away from us, so I'm still trying to just maximise my damage here. Speaking of the outboard ordnance, it has the option to carry 4 SD-50 bombs. I'm not entirely sure why you wouldn't carry them, but if you didn't want to, you can think, I don't want to carry bombs on my ground attack aircraft. Naturally, anybody with a brain would carry those bombs. And they have, each one will do 1500 damage over about a 50-meter radius. So if you can see how much damage is left on a target and you know you can hit it, you can probably do that with one bomb. But as you saw earlier in the game, what I was doing was trying to take an entire installation out, which I was dumping 2 or in some cases 4 bombs at a time. My bombs are still reloading. They do have quite a long reload on them. It's about 80 seconds, which takes a little bit of a while. But thankfully the guns can do quite a good job on any fairly light targets. As you can see here, I'm just going around from target to target, and just any of these ones that are almost destroyed already I can just pick off quite easily. One thing you have to be aware of, and again, I don't mind admitting that I've done this, and some others probably have as well, is accidentally hitting the ground when you're trying to really get in close to those targets. It's a defeat, but what, 8,500 combat points. I finished first on the team overall, and you know, I did as much as I probably could do. So let's have a look how that panned out in the end plates then. It pulled in, you know, it's a tech 3 plane, so 38,000 credits is not a huge amount. I did the best on my team. Hats off to that guy in the lag on the other team, man. That's a phenomenally good score. Well done to him. He's the guy that shot me down the first time I ended up. So this is an introduction for me to ground attack aircraft, and I would recommend, if you want to try a different playstyle, if you're sick of playing fast fighters or bombers, then ground attack planes might be for you. I'm certainly enjoying what this one does, and I've also got the Russian BSH-2, which I'll bring your way soon, and I'm heading off down those lines and reviewing them for you on the way. As ever, thanks for watching. Cheers now. Goodbye.